linguistics presentation. I will be talking about 3 strategies today. The first one addresses morphology, the second one addresses orthography and spelling, and the last one addresses pragmatics. Starting with morphology, Freeman and Freeman recommend teaching Greek and Latin roots to your students to help them understand where words come from and how words are formed. There are 2 different ways that you can go about teaching this. One is root walls, which is when you post various roots that you've come across naturally in the classroom onto the wall, so students can revisit those as they come across new words that have those same roots. A second way that I really like using is root trees. So as you can see in the picture, root trees start with the root of the word as the root of the tree. Then as the trunk, you have the definition of the words, and then you have different words that have that root in it all throughout on branches. One way that I've utilized this in my classroom is I split the class into 2 groups. One group has a Greek root, and the other group has a Latin root. Students then come up with various words that have that root in it, and they put them on the branches before they come up with the definition. Based off of the words that they were able to come up with, they then work backwards and figure out what they think that root means. Then at the end, we switch, and the Greek root group has the Latin root paper and vice versa, and the students add on to those papers. This is something that I found to be very helpful. Students are able to add on new words that the other group did not have. Usually they are able to figure out the correct definition right off the bat without switching groups, but it is helpful for students to realize that there are more words that they already know with that root than they may have imagined. For orthography and spelling, Lutz recommends using instructional games. This comes in many different formats. Some of those formats are word jumbles, dictionary scavenger hunts, and building words. These work on foundational reading skills. So word jumbles is this picture that we have on the top right here. So basically that is when the word is all jumbled up and you have to use your knowledge of spelling to put the letters in the right order to form the word. Examples like this one here then uses specific letters to form an answer to a question on the paper at the bottom. A dictionary scavenger hunt is really great for beginner ELs because it asks students to go through the dictionary and find various things, such as the first word in the dictionary that begins with the letter M. This really familiarizes students with using the dictionary, so this might also be good for elementary school students in general who are just learning to use dictionaries on their own for the first time. It involves writing page numbers, specific words, and various other elements that familiarize them with how the dictionary is organized and with alphabetizing words in the dictionary. Building words is something that is used very often with younger students, especially those in preschool, even going into kindergarten, but it is something that can be helpful for older students as well. As you can see in this picture, they're using AT word families, so bat, cat, hat, matching them with the pictures, but this is something that you can also do with more advanced words for older students. The last one is pragmatics. One thing that the American Speech Language Hearing Association recommends is role play conversations, which addresses speaking and listening. As you can see in the picture on the top, it can be very awkward when cultural norms don't match up. As you can see, she's reaching out to shake his hand and he's bowing to her, which obviously poses a little bit of an awkward situation for the 2 of them. So one way that you can utilize role playing that is more engaging for older students is something called the whodunit game. Basically, there is a crime, so it's very much like the board game Clue if you have played that, and there are different characters, and the students have to act as whatever character they're assigned. So I know the picture is a little bit blurry, unfortunately wouldn't zoom very well, but one character is described as being sneaky, and another character might be very proper in the way they talk. So students, based on which one they pick, have to act as that character, which allows them to practice utilizing language in various ways. And also works on their understanding of adjectives because they do need to understand what those words mean that the characters are being described as. For younger students, you might be able to use this as well, but you can also use traditional role play conversations where you have students pretend that they're either at the grocery store and one person is the cashier, the other one is the students. This is something you might be able to utilize with older students as well. Really depends on your class. I have had some students that really reject those things. They feel a little awkward about it. But when you introduce the more like murder mystery type of thing, they suddenly become much more interested. So there are different strategies that you can use to integrate role play conversations into the classroom, which teaches students how to utilize the last two. So going back, we had orthography and we had morphology. So it really takes those two skills and puts them into conversational English.